Hello everyone, my name is Stanley St. Rose, and today we're going to be talking about The Hitchhiker, written by Lucille Fletcher. Now, before I go into summary analysis of this work, please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and or comment so that the channel can continue to grow. Now, The Hitchhiker is a very interesting short story. What we have here is a man by the name of Ronald Adams. Adams, is coming from Brooklyn, New York, and he's going to California. He says goodbye to Mrs. Adams, his mother, and it's a simple trip. It's a cross-country trip. He's going to leave New York, go to California. Everything's fine. And again, keep in mind, this is a story set in the 1940s. So, you don't have all these fancy gadgets and smartphones and things that we have today. So, Adams. Oh, poor Adams. Basically, to just get to the meat and bones here, right? Just get to the truth of the matter here. What basically happens is that he gets in a car accident, he dies, all right? He dies on the Brooklyn Bridge. He dies on the bridge, and yeah, he doesn't know that. But we don't know that until the end. But just keep in mind that he does die on a bridge, and he has to keep going in his journey. So his mom was very scared, didn't want him to go, but he decides to go. He said it's going to be fine. He's going to stop at a few burger stands, hot dog stands, and he's going to be in California in no time. That's what he told his mother. But that's not what happened. So basically, right from the get-go, he sees this hitchhiker. This man doesn't look threatening. This man doesn't look, any type of harm that this man could do to Adams. But he doesn't pick him up. And so Adams just keeps going throughout the whole short story at different stops, different places on the road, different, gas stations, different places. He keeps seeing this hitchhiker. And honestly, he starts to get crazy. The more he drives, the faster he goes, the more he sees this hitchhiker. He asks a mechanic, when he reaches a point where there shouldn't be any hitchhikers. He asks the mechanic, are there any hitchhikers in this area? And the mechanic laughs a little bit. He says, no, there's no hitchhikers. But he keeps seeing the hitchhiker. He picks up this girl that wanted to get to, that was going the same direction. And he was going to drive the girl, but ultimately the girl loses, she thinks he's crazy because he sees this guy, this hitchhiker that nobody else sees. He tries to ran the hitchhiker over. He tries to prove that the hitchhiker exists, but nobody else can see the hitchhiker. And the girl pretty much, she thought that this is a crazy man. And it kind of felt like a crazy story because this guy is obsessed with this hitchhiker. The woman, she thought this man was crazy because he was trying to hit this guy that nobody else sees with his car. He runs into some barbed wire when the girl was in the car, and then after that, the girl was like, all right, I'm leaving. And he was like, no, don't leave me. I can't be alone because I keep seeing this hitchhiker. And the girl's like, no, I'm not going to go with you because, I don't want to see pink elephants all the way there. Kind of like saying that he's crazy, right? That Adams has lost his mind. And he's pretty much has lost his mind because when he gets close to California, by this time, he's seen this hitchhiker so much that in his mind, it is physically impossible for this hitchhiker to keep up with him because he's in a car. And this hitchhiker is pretty much hitchhiking across the United States. And so the girl leaves him, and Adams tries to wrestle her back into the car. Adam tries to keep her, and then, there's a struggle, and there's a smack, there's a slap, and the girl runs away and tells him that he's crazy and that she's not going to go travel with him because he's crazy. So yeah, all of that happens, and Adams, Ronald kind of, he loses his mind here because he keeps seeing this hitchhiker, and nobody else sees this hitchhiker that he sees. Ultimately, he stops at gas stations, he stops at different shops, he asks questions about the hitchhiker, he keeps asking people questions about the hitchhiker. Do they see this hitchhiker? Do they know the hitchhiker? And everybody's like, yo, Ronald. They don't say Ronald, I'm just saying Ronald. But they pretty much say, Ronald, sir, you're crazy. There's no hitchhiker, he doesn't exist. We don't know what you're talking about. keep in mind that he's actually dead. All right. While you're reading the story, the first way through, keep in mind here that he's dead. He just doesn't know this yet. When he gets to California, though, all of his journey, he keeps, telling people about the hitchhiker. They say, no, we don't see a hitchhiker, trying to hit the hitchhiker with his car. He gets stuck on the train track at one point and gets unstuck. He saw the hitchhiker there. It's like a game of cat and mouse between Adams and the hitchhiker. Sometimes he sees him, sometimes he don't. Sometimes he tells people about him. Sometimes people say he's crazy. It's just a back and forth cat and mouse game between death, because again, I'm gonna tell you guys this right away, that this hitchhiker is death, or the personification, the representation of death. So what happens is Ronald Adams here, he makes it to California, and then he makes a call back home to his mother. And what happens is, over the course of this phone call and the operators and reaching back home to Brooklyn, when he gets to California, he learns that his mother has had a nervous breakdown because her son, her oldest son, Ronald, has died. And then we understand that Ronald, that we've been following, is dead. It's just the truth. It is the truth. Yeah. So now he realizes that he's dead. He doesn't truly understand why. He keeps running, and the more he runs, the more he sees the hitchhiker. And in terms of deeper meaning, in terms of conclusion here, what this all means is basically Adams died on the bridge. Death has been following ever since. He's going to California, but really, this is his journey into the afterlife. Death has been with him. He doesn't want to give Death a ride, because the hitchhiker keeps asking for a ride. He doesn't want to give Death a ride. And who does, Who wants to ride with Death? Nobody wants to die. And then he realizes that he is dead, and he can keep running, but it's to no avail, because death comes for everybody. Yeah. And that's the end of the story, really. He just realized that he's dead. And there's a lot of questions to be asked. If he's dead, how come these other people saw him? Yeah. How come the mechanic, the store workers, the girl, how do all these people see Adams when he died on the bridge? This is very scary. So, are the other people dead too? Do dead people see dead people, or do these living people can see dead people? Did the girl just ride in a car with a dead man? There's a lot of questions to be asked here. So the hitchhiker is filled with mystery, but ultimately, in terms of deeper meaning, is that, well, no matter how much you run death, no matter how much you run away from death, it catches up to you. And also, yeah, nothing's certain in life. Ronald was so certain that he was going to make it to California. He told his mom, don't worry about it. I'm going to make it there. But since the beginning, it was raining. It was gloomy, grim at the beginning of the short story. So we could see that death was coming. Death was coming, right? So, yeah, that's the story. That's how it ends. And he's just lost in the plane of existence, where his mom knows that he's dead. And his life ends like that. So, from the beginning, it was not a hitchhiker. It was death, or a representation of death. And Ronald Adams never truly made it to California. Yeah. So that's my summary analysis of this work. Please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and or comment. And I'll see you guys in the next video.